welcome to Waypoint, everyone. We are now in part 3 of our question mark amount of mini episodes between the major arcs, because Sunny is unfortunately still not able to make these recording sessions. We're still working with Max's backstory in the superhero summer camp. And we have our wonderful players here. Let's introduce you guys. Julian, why don't you start?
Hi, I'm Julian. I play Willoughby Crowley, who is a magic user and doesn't want to be in this camp.
Mimi, what about you? I don't think we've ever heard about your character, so explain in depth who this is.
I play this really minor role. You know, Max. I bet no one knows her.
Especially in Dreamland.
And last but not least, we have...
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm gonna be playing Robin, who does not have any superpowers, but really wish they had. And they're just very good at deducting stuff from what people do and say and stuff.
Okay, last time we had some interesting acrobatics and telekinesis stuff on some sheets of ice and a bit of water, and maybe there were some tendrils involved, I don't really remember. But now we have gone over to another element.
Everything's safe for work.
Yeah.
Even if there were water tendrils involved.
Actually, there was one tendril at one point, and then you rolled super well again, so...
Yeah, but it felt like you
Could you stop?
It felt like we failed, though.
Oh, come on! You got a nice glowing sword that points you to the way you have to go.
I feel like I'm failing right now.
I have written a little introduction piece to set the scene, which hopefully will get a bit frantic quite soon, because I'm hoping there will be some nice stuff in there. An earth-trembling crash sounds through the woods of Lake Silvercrest Summer Camp, emanating from a clearing to the west of the camp. There, boulders and rocks are flying through the air, colliding with shattering force, while dust and debris are flying around in a whirling, deadly column of air. The wind streams around Robin's, Max's, and Will's feet as it is relentlessly sucked towards the howling tornado, easily the size of all three of them put together. For most people, this would be a scene out of the first half of a disaster movie. For the camp attendants, it's the first stages of an epic battle. It's time to put on the cape and protect the innocents. It's time to be a superhero. In other words, it's Tuesday.
Where's the innocence?
I guess it's the other camp attendees a few meters behind you.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
do we not have someone explaining stuff to us at this station?
Maybe the person turned into a tornado. I don't know what all the people have in terms of superpowers here.
True.
They might be in the middle of the tornado.
I don't have a cape. Is that a problem?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's good. Like, that's good. That's what you want if you're fighting
You're disqualified
a tornado.
then. I'm sorry to tell you that.
The tornado is coming towards us.
The tornado is coming towards you. Right now, you're standing at the edge of a clearing, or a few steps inside the clearing. To your left, you have this big formation of boulders and rocks. To your right, there's more of the clearing and a tiny pond. And right in front of you is a tornado full of rocks and boulders that is coming towards you in a menacing way.
Robin,
Yes.
you're really sure that you don't have superpowers?
Still, yes.
Also no, like, tornado control powers?
Pretty sure,
None at
yes.
all. Okay.
Should I
All right.
try running around it in the opposite direction just to make sure?
I mean, I've seen that happen in superhero movies, but I think you need to have certain powers for that to work.
Yes, and I don't have them.
You never know until you try. I think Robin might be the person who tried. Who tried everything.
I tried everything.
Max, do your powers have effect on rock tornadoes?
No,
I've
Grant
never
is immune
tried.
to
I mean-
electric type.
But it's weak
Yeah.
to flying type.
No, flying type.
Flying type is weak to it, you know what I mean.
No, it's okay.
It's rock flying type.
Yeah, it's not
This
ground
is
So
not
it's
Pokemon.
Okay, guys, stay on topic.
Yes.
Tornado coming towards you. You have no convenient speedsters or weather manipulators.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I mean, can I check whether anything is causing this tornado? Like, whether
Sure.
whether it's a normal ish tornado or whether there's something else that causes it or something?
I can tell you without a roll, this is not a normal tornado. Normal
Thank you.
tornadoes
But
are not
is there something
this.
inside it? Is maybe the question. Yeah.
A big, giant fucking boulder.
Okay. But removing the boulder would probably not stop the tornado.
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean, I know, but I'm not going to tell you that.
like, okay, do we, okay, that's a knowledge thing, I think. But do we know if any of the camp counselors have tornado-related powers?
You know that one of the counselors has earth manipulation, and you know that one of them has, Guy Dixon, who you already met, has air and density control.
Okay. The idea here is, okay, none of us are really equipped to fight a tornado, but potentially, if we know what the weak points of our counselor's powers are, we might be able to stop it that way. Like, does Guy need to be very close to do that? Stuff like that. Is there anything like that we might have spotted over the course of the camp so far?
Okay. So you want to quickly try to remember what you know about the camp counselors and their superpowers and potential weaknesses.
I want to
Yes.
ask Robin if Robin
Yes.
remembers that. Because Robin is much more observant than me. It's probably more of a screaming, Robin! Have you ever noticed, like, any of the camp counselors, one of them had, like, air powers, right? The dick man. Does he have to be close? Is there a range thing? Do you have any idea? Have you noticed anything?
That sounds like a brains roll to me, where your ability helps. So 2 dice.
I flashily remember.
That is a 6 and a 3. That's a half success.
You look at this tornado and you think, okay, this could either be someone with earth powers making it look like it's air with the earth, or someone with air powers who tries to make it look like it's the earth.
But definitely only one person.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the complication here, the thing that you have to tell me on 3 which one you want to know about. Earth or air. 1, 2, 3. Which one?
Air.
Okay. So you think about Guy Dixon, the guy who has such an awful name that you can't help but pay attention to him, especially since he wants you to pay attention to him all the time. You know from your research and from what you've seen so far that he likes to play little pranks on people with his density control, where he makes something like incredibly less dense than it should have been, like a chair or something, or something someone is trying to grab, and it's just like they can't lift it because it suddenly has become so dense, or they pass right through it. And as you look at the tornado, you think that could be something like that. I mean, he has air manipulation powers, and maybe he could make rocks like less dense so that they float, or make the air so dense that the rocks are swimming in it. But what you know very clearly is that he needs line of sight.
Right.
He cannot control stuff which he cannot see.
If it's
But you also know that he can phase through stuff, so it could be that he's just like in the ground and just his eyes are poking out or something like that.
Yeah.
But he would need line of sight.
I shout back, if it is Dixon, he needs to be in line of sight of what he's controlling.
That's all the talking you guys will be able
Yeah.
to get. Until then the wind starts getting so loud that you will have to do something now.
I'm gonna propose an idea, and you guys tell me if you're cool with that one.
All right.
You are in the tornado is right in front of you.
No, okay,
You're
okay,
getting
okay.
pelted by sand.
Out of character, really quick. Out of character, I propose an idea, and I propose it by doing it in character, which is running away.
Yep, that seems sensible.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems like the one option we have right now.
Yeah.
Where do you want to run?
I think I'm gonna follow you. Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Do you want
run
to run-
away from it in a 2D game kind of way, but in a 3D kind of way where we step out of the way of the tornado.
Yes.
Okay, so I gather you're not gonna just turn around and try to head back into the forest, but you try to run to the side.
Yeah.
Okay, to the side in the direction of the pond, or to the side in the direction of the boulders?
Pond, why not?
Okay.
How close is the pond?
It's a bit of a ways away.
Like half a mile a ways away? Or
No,
like,
it's inside. I'm just saying you are like 5-6 steps away from the boulders and like 10 steps away from the pond.
okay, and can we...
I'm just a bit surprised that when a tornado is coming towards you, your idea is, oh, I'm not gonna hide between the very sturdy-looking rocks. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
hide
the
at
tornado
open.
is specifically noticeable for being able to make rocks fly around. So,
This one especially, yeah.
yeah, so I'm not gonna go for the rocks, I think.
So you remember that ground types are very weak to water, and you're running towards the pond.
No, I
Okay.
just don't want to be crushed between rocks that are spun around by a tornado.
Okay.
Fair.
Sounds like a good idea.
So you run towards the pond to the right of the clearing.
Yes.
Max, Robin, are you following?
Yes.
Yes, and I grab Robin's hand. In case one of us gets blown away, the other can hold on.
Aw.
So that sounds to me like a bronze roll. I'm gonna say
Oh,
since
God.
the tornado is a bit
Why do you
close,
think I'm
as
holding on
start,
to you?
As you start running away, you notice that the rocks seem to be a bit more directed towards you now, as if they are trying to stop you from running away. So, bronze roll.
I'd say as soon as I noticed that the rocks like seem to be aiming towards us, that the tornado like clearly seems to have a mind of its own, Will is gonna go into big heavy demon mode.
Sure.
So as not to be blown away as easily, and also to be more
Okay.
durable against small rocks.
So then what I'm gathering is Julian, Willoughby gets 2 dice, one, and Max and Robin, you both also get 2 dice for helping each other out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That works. I just rolled my number twice. Just wanna
Nice.
get that across real quick.
Oh, cool.
I rolled
This was a
4.
mistake.
You go ahead.
I mean, it was half a success. It was a 6 again and a 2.
Nice.
I have also a 2 and a 6.
Okay, so a full success with ultra power from Willoughby and 2 partial successes from Max and Robin.
I'm gonna say Will really doesn't go for a dodging approach and more for a not caring as much because he has like stone-like skin. If like a few rocks chip at it, and he's gonna use that not being affected by the tornado as much to have an insight, and that insight is, okay, the tornado like clearly changed its path to follow us. Where,
Yes.
if someone were to control it, where would they have to be to have noticed that and corrected accordingly?
You would assume that your initial, your first thought that maybe he's in the giant boulder in the middle. That might be an idea, but since it's reacted quite fast and you also can only see the boulder occasionally, you would guess that if it is Guy Dixon that is making this tornado, he could not be in the middle of the boulder because he would not be able to see or react that fast through all the fog and dust and debris flying around. So
Okay.
you would gather from the reaction time, he also couldn't be somewhere in the ground and look up at you. It should be something either at the same level as you guys or maybe up high.
So for a second insight, I would try to remember, like, okay, from the absolute minimum of perception that I put into seeing what happened around me during this camp so far.
I mean, you had
This-
a lot of free time with not participating.
True. I try to remember, like, okay, so who was the rock person?
So actually, the person that is the Earth manipulator is Tamina Sato, known as Terra Firma.
Oh yeah, I remember
and
that name.
she's the one that oversaw your superhero trainings most of the time.
Ah.
So every time you were supposed to practice your powers, you have never really seen her make any Earth stuff that moves a whole lot. Most of her Earth manipulation seems to be pretty static. Like, she can make an Earth wave, but you have never seen her, like, making a rock fly around or something. She
Okay,
mostly
so-
just shoots it at stuff and makes solid objects out of the Earth.
So either she hasn't shown that ability so far to us, or it's not her either.
Yeah.
Okay.
your gut instinct is, since this is an insight from your ultra power, that doesn't jive with what you've seen of her so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
Robin, Max, you try to run away. You succeeded running away a bit. The problem starts happening when you dodge from the path towards a more sandy area. It's like a part of the boulders. There's a lot of sand there, and as you start treading there, you notice that the sand seems softer than usual. Like your feet sink a bit more into it. At first it starts feeling like just walking through snow. Then it starts feeling like you're walking through mud. And as you look down, you notice that the sand looks a bit quicksandy. You're not stuck in it yet, but you are right in the middle of the quicksand field, and you notice that it's getting harder to move at a quick pace.
Damn it, Dixon.
Max is actually kind of excited about this because she's seen so much quicksand, like on TV or something, and was like, maybe I'm never gonna experience this. But now she actually does.
The majesty of quicksand.
And I think she kind of likes that, but at the same time, obviously, this is not a great situation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think where you might have seen it, and my first reaction was, well, there was probably some on the Goose Tales stories, and give me an American state real quick.
Iowa.
Iowa Jordan movies.
Yes. That's what I was thinking of, actually.
Because isn't that Disney at this point?
Honestly,
I mean, yeah, but it's pre-Disney. Indiana Jones can exist.
Iowa
Jordan it is.
So, Will, you have run past the other two who took a slightly different route, and as you have this little inside idea, you turn around to maybe shout something at your compatriots and see them struggling to get some move at a clip to get through this quicksand.
Actually, knowing what I know about quicksand, I'm not moving at all and waiting for Will to maybe come and rescue us, because as the quicker you move, the faster you sink.
That's also what you learn on TV, so
exactly.
Maybe Max also knows that.
The reason why I know that is TV.
Will is gonna try to think quick. He's like going through, okay, what could this be? Who could this be? Okay, this is... Okay, so I, Julian, know that if this is a challenge, then what they might want to see from me right now is that I help my compatriots, like protect the people who are in danger. But I think Will is gonna go a bit more for a cut the snake's head off approach.
Okay.
Which would be to jump at thing and punch.
I mean,
great.
You're gonna punch the tornado? Awesome.
Technically, that's also helping us.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, jump at the tornado, dig my hands in, and punch it until something happens.
Okay, so
that is such
are you
an
trying
anime
to
move.
hurt the tornado or slow it down to give your compatriots time to escape?
Basically, yeah, I'm gonna try to distract
Either
the
way,
tornado.
it's distract the tornado by punching it. Okay, that's a brawn roll if I've ever seen one.
Distract it, or if someone is phased into it, punch that person in the face.
Okay, that's a brawn roll, and I would say that's daring and awesome. All 3 dice.
Nice.
I don't think if there's anything more brawny or daring and awesome, then I'm gonna jump at the tornado and punch
That's
it.
the least brainy thing you could do. That's certainly
That is
true.
Very true.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because I rolled 3/4.
Oh!
Did you like
load your dice or something?
Didn't you roll like 2 4s before?
I rolled 2/4 in the last roll and
the
3/4 in this one.
That's 5 4s now. You have rolled twice and it's only been 4s.
Yeah, I've only rolled 4 so far.
What the fuck?
What did you do to your dice?
Yes, you have the ultimate. I don't know.
What?
This has to be the most epic thing one can do in this system.
I just put
Okay.
his pants
It's
on.
Oh yeah, there's
punching a
rules
tornado.
for that, right?
It's.
I'm not punching technically, I'm punching a rock in a tornado, but you know, we don't want to be like, well, actually.
Well, actually,
Just for me. Will actually.
Hey.
I'm gonna say, Will, you ready yourself. You roll your shoulders, you take a big stance, and you just jump forward with your hand extended Superman style. Maybe one-handed. And you aim at the big giant boulder in the middle that fell from the pile of boulders initially. And your idea was, maybe I'll knock it to the side, or maybe if there's someone in there, I can rattle them out. You punch the entire boulder out of the tornado. You guys see Will in his demon form just streaking through the tornado and punching out a boulder like twice the size of himself. It comes flying out of the tornado. The entire tornado like sort of falls down into itself a bit, and you can actually see for a moment that the tornado seems to almost freeze in place for a second, as if it's also very shocked, and Will just sort of getting up from like the wreckage and the like deep furrow this boulder burrowed into the clearing, and just having destroyed like half the tornado with one punch. You have become One Punch Man for a second.
Hey, Robin, did you see that as well?
Yeah, it actually did happen.
Awesome.
In this moment of maximum awesomeness, you connect with something, and you have a lot of gut instincts. You have 3 questions. What are they?
Oh, 3 whole questions, eh?
I think you can brainstorm it if you want. Or you can say like everyone gets a question.
We could do it like that. Like it sort of collapsed in on itself. That means it still seems to be active somewhat.
It still seems to be active, but it seems almost exactly half as active as before. You might say you have halved its hit points.
Okay, I'm just on top of that rock now, and it's outside of the tornado.
Yes.
Okay.
But I remind you that if it is Guy Dixon working this stuff, then he would not have enough line of sight to you guys to react as fast as he did if you were inside that rock. Whoever controls this does not seem to be inside this rock, but this rock seemed to be a big part of the tornado. And you can see it sort of struggling to get its momentum back, and it actually has stopped in place and just seems to try to get itself moving again.
Yeah, you two can have the other questions. My theories were all okay. Yeah, you can have them.
Okay, so the other...
If your question was, is Guy Dixon in this rock? The answer is no.
So either it's somebody that we don't know yet, or it is actually really a Guy Dixon and he is watching from like a nearby tree or something.
So in this moment of just sheer awesomeness, you also connect with something. This was so awesome. Your mind is just open to possibility of everything. What do you want to know?
So there's still boulders around us, and I want to know if there's like any iron in any of them.
Nice.
You notice that one of the boulders in the like boulder formation seems to have an iron vein running through it, but you also see that underneath the boulders there's a lot of trash, including some stuff that might be metal. But one of the boulders seems, it's not made of iron, but it has a nice iron vein in it that you can sort of sense.
How far is it away?
Since you ran away from the boulders towards the pond, it's on the other side between you and the tornado. I would say 20 meters or something like that.
Okay, so
Last
Robin?
question.
I don't know.
I think I might have another question. It's more of an insight
go
into
for it,
the
yeah.
boulder. Like I punched the boulder out of the way. I maybe cracked it a little. Do I notice something?
Actually, yes, you do. You know that your demon form is super strong, but you also know it's not that strong. If this was a boulder like the size of you, you should not have been able to simply punch it out of the way. It seems like this boulder seems very light for the size that it is.
I mean, I punched it, and did I maybe like break it open a little or something?
You
Did I
notice
get a
that
bit of an
the
idea?
part where your that there's actually a big indent where your fist met it, and something seems weird about the gravel that sort of formed around it. Like it seems very, very porous, very soft for rock, which is my way of telling you there's something wrong with the relationship between its size and its mass, and I don't think I can get any clearer than that.
Do you maybe want to give us a hand here, Will?
I mean, you can try to pull us out, technically.
I gave you a really big hand already.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna try to pull us towards the boulder and out of the quicksand
We're still holding hands, I'm assuming.
Yes, or at least I'm grabbing your arm now or something. By magnetizing the iron vein that's hopefully in the boulder and any metal that's on our bodies.
The imagery of this is very fun.
So
Belts.
if you're gonna pull yourself towards that, you're gonna pull yourself towards the tornado.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
You're
far
aware of
enough
this,
that,
okay.
that we get out of the quicksand.
See, this
not
is-
Yes.
further than that.
this is very fun for you, Vio, because I'm obviously gonna try to stop it as soon as we're out of the quicksand. But if I have like
Yes.
a
I
mixed
just wanted to make-
success, that means you're gonna have you can play with
Yeah.
that, you
Then
know.
we can start
Yeah.
flying.
I just wanted to make it clear that you know what the possible consequences
I
are
know,
if you're
I'm
doing
aware,
this.
but
Okay, then let's do this.
you know, like,
I'm gonna say.
do you think this would
brawn.
stop Max, like, for real?
Oh no, it wouldn't. Brawn
let's
2
do
dice.
this.
Brawn 2. Is it daring and awesome? I would say it's daring, pulling yourself towards a now less giant but still enormous, like tornado full of earth. I'm gonna give you a third die.
That's
for this.
very nice because I rolled really badly with the 2 I had.
Please. Okay.
So, like, out of 3 dice, there's 1 that's above my number.
Ooh, well, this was the last pity die I gave
Yep.
you.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so I think you might know where this is gonna go. now.
Into the tornado, yeah.
Honestly, I like it better
Yeah.
this way. Like, if we just succeeded, what's the fun in that?
We
Okay,
can't clear this boss
so-
fight in 2 rolls.
I mean, that one was a very, very good roll. It was like two critical successes in once.
Yeah.
I don't even
Listen, we're just
So-
useless in this fight. It's fine.
know. It's a fight against a tornado. What did you expect? So you start pulling at the iron vein, and this rock seems solid enough to not move at all when you start pulling on it, and you sort of start feeling your feet getting loose of the quicksand. And suddenly you're free of the quicksand, and you did not expect this. So you shoot towards this boulder and into the tornado.
Well,
You are now being buffeted from all sides, from little jets of sand and pebbles, and the tornado seems surprised for some reason, and both of you take half a point of damage. I think this is the point where I'm gonna tell you what homebrew stuff I used for like damage and hit points.
yeah. Can I
So-
just say really quick? I think that this makes a lot of sense also in world because Max is really bad with the whole magnetizing thing at this point.
Yes.
I also really like the imagery of you just sort of like putting a hand out and then you kind of get dragged across the ground towards the metallic rock.
Well,
Like
I like
towards the
I
tornado.
think it's more like the ketchup thing. And nothing happens, and then suddenly everything happens. Like you're not moving at all, then suddenly you're shooting towards the tornado. So damage with this system that I homebrewed into it. You have 5 hit points. Every time you roll a failure or a partial success, you take damage. Every time you get a full or critical success, you deal damage. In general, if your hit goes entirely wrong, you take 1 damage. If you have a mixed success, you deal half a damage and you take half a damage. If you get 2 successes, you can choose to take no damage but only deal 1, or take half a damage and deal 1.5. And if you have a critical success, you deal 1.5 damage. So basically, the better you roll, the more easily you can get away without a scratch.
Nice.
So right now that means that you had a mixed success. You take half a point of damage from getting inside the tornado. You still have 4.5 hit points
Yeah.
left.
Will is also on 4.5 hit points. Will
Yes,
lost
I
a
have
half
that
hit
noted
point in the last
I wrote
adventure.
that down, don't worry. Okay, so yeah, you are inside the grasp of the tornado and getting buffeted by small rocks and pebbles. And
Yeah.
I did notice that the tornado seemed to have lost a lot of its power as it lost this large component of it. So
yes,
my idea right now is, okay, so if we take more of the shit the tornado is spinning around out of it, maybe it'll grow even weaker. Because that rock seemed to have done a good part in that already.
this sounds to me like I'm gonna punch the tornado a bunch more.
No, the idea is to demonify and try to telekinetically remove some of the smaller garbage
rip
from
the
the
tornado apart from. Okay,
Like, yeah,
that sounds
pull
interesting.
some of the shit it's spinning around out of the tornado's reach. So Will de-demonifies his nice hoodie jacket is ripped now because that's something he brought from home. That's not camp equipment.
Maybe it's a stylish rip. One of the sleeves ripped off or something.
Yeah, perfect. Both sleeves ripped off. And it's a very cool jacket now.
You see your comrades in arms getting apparently sucked into the tornado. Maybe you hear a "oh no, oh cripes" from Max, and they're inside the tornado, and you have an idea. I would say this is a bronze roll. This is just grabbing stuff with force and pulling it out.
Yeah.
And I would say, I'm not sure if this is daring and awesome.
I'm also not sure.
I would say this is mostly very pragmatic
Yeah.
And logical problem solving. So I would say 2 dice for you.
De-demonifying for this and doing this is not very daring. Punching it again would have been daring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Punching it again might have been daring.
Punching through a tornado in a demon form sounds pretty cool. Reverting back to a pimply, 12-year-old and just sort of making grabby motions with your hands is less daring and awesome. So
it
2
is.
dice for you. 2 dice bronze.
Bronze was up.
4 and above.
4 and above. Okay, I rolled a 4 and a 6. I did roll a 4 again. I rolled a 4 and a 6.
How?
I mean, this is fine. It's not like
I don't know.
Do you have any questions left?
I did test rolls all the time, and there were very few 4s in them.
Okay, 4 and a 6. That is a full success. That means while you're trying to decide, or do you already have a question in mind?
I have a question.
Okay.
Hey, Vio, how's your day? How you holding up?
Hey,
Pretty
God,
okay,
how are
actually.
you?
Basically that, yeah.
Actually, I had a bit of trouble falling asleep yesterday, so today has been kind of tired. I had the chance to take a half-hour nap at the day clinic. That was pretty nice. Afterwards, I felt better. And most of the day... I work in ergotherapy. I work on a soapstone, a black one, that is my depressed brain, so that if I have depressive thoughts, I can just shove them in there. And today I finally finished sort of carving in the brain bumps and folds and stuff.
Nice.
So now I only have to polish it. And then I have a very hard but slightly crumbly black brain where I can just put
I
my
love soapstone. It's so great.
depressive stuff in there. Also, I can just hold it up and say I have the brain cell. And that's pretty fun.
Well, it's a bunch of
That's
brain
the one
cells.
brain cell. My question is answered. Back to the plot.
Yeah. So, full success. That means we are now that I've explained to you the system, you can choose to either deal additional half damage and take half a damage as well, or just deal 1 damage and not take any.
Okay.
I would say this manifests as you're pulling the rocks out of the tornado towards yourself, and you can either do it more cautiously so that they are not hitting you as you're pulling them towards yourself, or more recklessly, which will deal more damage, but maybe you get hit too by one of the rocks that you pull towards yourself.
I'm gonna say Will sees the situation after the big punch as not dangerous enough that he has to get hurt in the process. So I'm gonna go with a more careful way where I don't get hurt.
Okay.
While
Even
2
though
of us
you're-
are stuck inside it.
Yeah, but think about it this way. I'm not stuck inside it.
Accurate?
Very.
Robin, Max, you notice as that there are some rocks that are hurtling towards it that suddenly stop and rush away from you towards Will, who's just imagining you making grabbing motions with your hand.
Yeah, basically, pulling stuff and throwing it away, essentially, that kind of motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the tornado seems to lessen a lot around you. It's almost as if it's barely hanging in there. There are still some rocks and stuff, but you feel the tornado's force lessening quite a lot.
I'm gonna look for a way, whether I can see a way of damaging it further from the inside.
Which one of you took the sword last? I think it was Max.
Max set the sword.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
You notice as the tornado starts shrinking that the sword that was just a arrow pointing towards this place
Yeah.
kept following you and is now floating just outside of the tornado and sort of hovering there.
Is it pointing at anything?
It's pointing at the tornado or at you. You can't really tell. You're inside the tornado.
Yeah.
I mean, I can try to grab it, I guess.
So I don't do a brainy roll to see whether we can do anything? Okay.
You can still do that. I was just giving you for free. You still have a spectral sword that seems to be close
I mean, you can do
by.
your brainy roll first. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
To see whether there's anything else.
What exactly do you want to do with the brain roll?
I want to see whether there's a way that we can hurt the tornado from the inside.
Give me a brains roll. 5 or below.
Go for it.
That's a 5 and a 4.
Nice. So a full success.
Yes.
And a question you can ask.
Mm-hmm.
So as you look around, you see the floating sword that seems within hand's reach, but not inside the tornado. You also notice that as you go closer to the middle of the tornado, the air seems to thicken somehow. You can almost like feel the air resistance that seems more than should be there from just the wind. Because the wind has died down quite a bit. You notice that only like the outer edges of the tornado actually have a lot of wind in them. The middle part seems to move a lot more slowly. So you have a feeling that if you got the stones from the inner part out, that might destabilize the tornado a lot more. And you've also seen that now that you're close enough to the tornado, you can actually see a tiny stone that's entirely black, just floating in the middle and not moving at all. That seems significant to you.
Right.
You may now ask a question.
My question is, could I actually just grab the stone and pull it out?
You could, but since you notice the air is very dense and thick around of it, you feel like it would take quite a bit of force to pull it out. It wouldn't just be snatching it, it would be like reaching inside and pulling it out.
I'm gonna shout at Max, Max, grab the sword and then play baseball with that rock over there.
Sounds like a good idea, right?
Okay, if you want to grab the sword and batter at the core of the tornado, I would say that's a bronze roll with 2 dice. Because you get the help from Robin. I'm trying to decide if playing baseball with a sword is daring and awesome. And I'm thinking, you are 11 to 12. You would find this incredibly awesome. So I'm going to give you this die.
For sure.
Sure, yes.
You get a third die.
3
Okay.
dice.
Yeah,
Yay.
okay.
Play baseball with a glowing spectral
3
ghost
and above.
sword.
Let's go.
Finally, our fighty character,
I have
Max, who has the highest
I
bronze
have
skill.
a 4, 5, and 6.
Yes, nice.
So
The best you can get without getting an insight.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh, you didn't get a question. Everyone got a question like all the time.
I have no questions.
I know literally everything. We know everything about this universe by now.
You grab the sword, and it seems like as soon as you touch it, it grows a bit more solid, and you swing it around at this floating black rock, and you just smash through the sort of dense air and smash the rock out. It yeets. Do you want to yeet? Are you like smashing it towards Will or just towards anywhere?
Well, probably not towards Will because I don't want to hit him.
Okay.
But it would be really fun if I caught it, you know?
I'm
would
just
be
gonna
fun.
tell you, the last time you wanted you wanted someone to catch one of the
Yeah.
one of the
Which is
rewards for
exactly
the
why you
challenge.
should do it. It's a callback.
Yes.
Yeah, you can scream at Will. Catch.
And just still better it somehow. I would say if you just, for me, the decision is if Will tries to catch it, if you warn him beforehand, that would give him a help die. But I think Max would just better it and then shout, catch it. Think fast. I'm gonna let you decide what you're gonna do.
I'm just gonna hit it towards Will, and while swinging, I just shout, "Catch Will!"
Why?
He does have telepathy, telekinesis. He can catch it without physically catching it.
I can telekinesis catch it, or I can transform back into a demon and catch it in my big demon.
I mean, I'm just gonna say I was angled in a way where it was going towards Will anyway, and I didn't take the time to manage it to go into any other direction.
Right.
So I'm
it
not.
was
Okay, I'm
basically an accident.
Yeah, I'm not purposefully hitting it towards him.
Just to be clear about the way it's flying, it's like baseball style. Like it's flying in the air, so I'm basically it's baseball.
It
Yes.
is baseball.
I'm trying to catch it like in baseball.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna say, as soon as you hit the rock, the entire tornado just collapses in on itself. You guys get showered by a lot of dirt and a few smaller rocks, but the bigger ones Will has already pulled out. And the black rock goes flying, and Will tries to catch it.
Now, what I'm thinking right now is Will sees that the tornado starts collapsing as soon as it flies out of it. And he's faced with a conundrum. That conundrum being, he has stoutly chosen not to have any unnecessary fun at this camp. And he doesn't have to catch that. Like, it seems like the thing's over. He doesn't have to catch the ball.
Yeah, but he could. It would be awesome if he did.
He could catch the ball. That's like the internal struggle he's facing right now. You know what? He tries. He tries to catch it.
Okay. Are you going to try to catch it by hand or via telekinesis?
By big demonic hand. I'm going to go full baseball.
I would say you get an additional die for the incredible success that Max had at yeeting it out of there. So 2 dice, 3 dice? Is it daring and awesome to transform into a demon just to catch a ball, basically? I would say yes.
Yes, it is.
4 dice for you.
4.
Oh shit, you can have 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
Damn.
I don't know how to adjudicate if you get 4 successes, but it's... I hope it's not gonna happen.
I can tell you I don't.
Full story.
I have 2
reasons.
successes.
2 successes.
I have a 5 and a 6. That's my 2 successes.
Did you roll? Oh,
No 4.
thank
No
God.
4. I don't need to roll any additional 4s. I've basically mind melded with God at this point. I don't have any questions anymore.
So 2 successes means it works well. You jump, and during the jump, you transform into your demon self, and just sort of reach your demonic giant claw out, and the rock lands into it as if it's like a baseball glove. It's almost as if it's like they are magnetically drawn towards each other. Do you have a cool one-liner, or are we just gonna leave it at that?
I think Will, in his very limited knowledge of sports activities, will jump up and throw it to the ground and yell, "Touchdown!"
Max turns around to Robin and says, "I was in Little League Baseball."
Of course you were.
Max, you stand there with a misty sword. Which, do you still hold it or do you let it go?
I think I still hold it.
You still hold it. It still feels kind of solid, more solid than it
You have
did
it like
when
a
it was
baseball
floating.
bat after this.
Yeah, I just put it on my
Just
shoulder.
slung over your shoulder. And Robin,
I'm dusting myself off as best as I can.
yeah, Max, Robin, you're both pretty dirty, but it's mostly like dry dirt which you can brush off or sort of beat out of your clothes. The adrenaline is pumping. You feel on top of the world now.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see how I punched the rock?
That was awesome! We're such a good team!
It's crazy. I never did that before.
Wow.
Will runs over to you with the orb still on hand and still in demon mode, which he probably doesn't even notice at this point.
Oh, don't hug anyone. If you're gonna try to hug someone, I'm gonna make this a roll.
I would like, if I may, have a look at the rock. Like from close up and try to see what exactly it is.
Since now the immediate danger has gone, you can take a moment to look at it. I don't think that needs a roll, because it just looks like a sort of shaped like a bar of soap, a black rock. It looks obsidian-esque, and there is a fancy rune carved on it. But, well, Will, you know runes, and you know this is a made-up one. This is one that's supposed to look very fancy, but it has no actual power.
Mm.
It does not seem to have a perceivable function or any sort of obvious signs of anything more than just a pretty rock with a fancy rune on it.
Will pokes at it with his demon finger and says, I'm pretty sure that one means soup. Pretty sure that's not magic.
Maybe it's like soup as in a potion or something.
A potion
Magic
is a soup.
soup.
Potion is just bad soup.
Good soup.
Potion is just
Very
dark
good
soup.
soup.
You have a sword, you have a stone, it does not look like he could put the sword in the stone.
Dang, that was my first idea.
Why was that my first idea?
Yeah, because she said there's a sword and a stone.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So it's the sword and the stone, obviously.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
how do we figure out where to go next?
The sword starts vibrating in your hand.
Okay.
I think that's how.
Maybe Dixon can tell us.
I'm not here. You hear from. You look around for his voice and you see him like on a hunter's perch in one of the trees, and he sort of waves down at you. Good job, everyone!
Look,
Just-
I'm participating. Can you just tell us where to go?
Yes, it's amazing. I seriously had to write on the back of the form because there is no check mark for this.
For like
Mr.
me
Crowley.
doing things? For me doing
I'm
things,
so
there's no
proud of
check
you.
mark?
There is. I'm not supposed to tell you that much about the evaluation process, but I mean, I've been in some pretty awesome fights. This was very close to some awesome fights I had.
I'm not interested in your approval.
You sort of see his face fall, and he slumps a little bit. I just wanted to tell you guys that you were incredibly awesome and a good team, and just let go of the sword and it will point the way. And he sort of goes back onto his perch, and you see him.
Well,
When
just-
he
were we
says-
actually a good team? Because like 2 of us were working together there, but
I mean,
Hey,
the
I
last
was
bit
working
awesome
together.
Teamwork.
I was doing a different, like in a big superhero fight, there have to be the evacuating the victims people, and there has to be a Superman. You know?
As
Like-
as Dixon leaves, Max just says, "So when he says he was in fights, do you mean like he saw them on TV?"
You
I
know from Guy Dixon that he was a few years ago. He was actually like active in the SOS, but his hero days are long behind him, and they were not that great to begin with.
Also,
don't
like,
know, I feel like
are
I'm-
we talking about this loudly enough that he can clearly hear it?
Oh yeah,
you
oh,
are,
yeah.
we aren't.
Okay, I'm still
mean-
shouting because I'm in demon mode. I don't have voice control.
I feel like he keeps talking about his SOS days, but just the campus don't really believe him.
Yeah, I imagine it like he was with the SOS, and they were like kind of impressed with, oh, someone with so many powers, that could be very interesting. And basically there was like one villain that maybe tried to destroy a building or something, and he just disintegrated a few holes to get people out of it, and that was pretty much it.
So basically he got in because of the type of his powers, like
Yeah.
Max would have gotten in.
Yeah.
Just he didn't
Air
do much
magic.
beyond that.
Air and disintegration and density control, he could do anything.
Yeah, that's very good.
And he
powers.
just kind of didn't.
I can tell you that much. I don't want to be a superhero. I want to be a Guy Dixon, even less.
He's listening.
That's
to all
very
of us.
insulting.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't aware that you could hear me. I'm gonna go out of
can.
demon mode again.
You do that. I didn't even know you had demon mode.
Yeah, nobody did, because I don't participate in this usually.
I noticed. I don't care for your approval. And he sort of, you see him. And you see him climb down the ladder and vanish into the woods a bit more hurriedly. That would be dignified.
He's gonna have to do this with other teams after us. Is it just gonna be very easy for them because he's still crying when they get here?
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Why is this tornado made of tears? That's such a weird challenge.
Tear
I'm
bending.
not crying. I just have something in my eyes.
This adult man is just getting bullied by a bunch of 12-year-olds.
We're completely
course he is.
unnecessarily
for him
being
to hear
mean.
me, but apparently he did.
There's no good reason for us to be mean to him. Like, he hasn't been an asshole.
No.
He's just
we're
called
just
Guy
straight
Dixon,
up-
and that's that's all there is. That's all
We're
he
just
needs to be,
straight up
like, bullied by a
bullying
bunch
him.
of kids.
I feel like he's annoying and that's why we're bullying him, which is not a good reason.
Yeah, but we're kids, so that checks out.
Yeah, but I was just gonna say, you guys are 11 and 12. I don't think you have enough
Yeah.
self-reflection yet to notice this.
Anyways, now that we've made a grown man cry, where's the way to the next challenge?
I think if you let go of that sword, maybe it'll point us in the right direction again.
Yeah, I take the sword off my shoulder.
It's still vibrating a tiny bit, and as you let it goes a bit more misty again and floats at like chest high. and just hide and begins to point further into the woods.
Then we go into the woods.
Yeah.
You wind your way. The path that you were following sort of does a few turns, and it's very idyllic. And you notice that you are walking towards the sort of more mountainy part of the area where the camp is, and you seem to hear voices coming from further behind the trees.
I'm gonna keep walking.
Keep walking? Okay.
But maybe let's try to be a bit stealthy
All right.
and try to listen.
I would say I'm gonna make this a bit more different because you are working as a group. I'm gonna say everyone roll 1 die, and we're gonna see how many successes you get between the three of you. And that means
that's
how
brainy?
I would say that's brains, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like bronze.
Yeah.
What do we brain?
You're gonna roll
One
one brain die, and we're gonna see how well you work.
Are you
how
fucking
quiet you
kidding
are as a group.
me?
Yeah, I know. I'm the brainiest person, and I rolled the 1 number.
The problem I right now have is that would make sense, but all of you have different numbers.
I rolled a 4.
So
Well, you are the only success we have between the three of us.
I also rolled a 4, okay? And like, you rolled the 1 number you shouldn't roll.
I'm supposed to be the brainy person.
I'm not actually I'm noticing something. I'm just, peering through the veil once again,
You're distracted
witnessing
by
the
Max.
secrets of the universe unfurling in front of me.
So
Robin is staring at the hand that Max has held before, and it's like, Max held my hand.
A girl touched me.
yeah, Robin, Max, tell me why you are not good at sneaking right now.
I
I
mean,
think, but Max, I could imagine why.
I think,
Max being Max, mostly.
yeah, but also I think it has to do with, like, basically the shoes just being soggy and sandy and uncomfortable.
Aw.
Also, y'all are probably still on adrenaline, like.
That too, yeah. And I don't think Max is very good at sneaking in general. That's also true.
Robin was very concentrated on the group before them and didn't notice a twig on the ground.
Not the twig.
Not the twigs in the sneaky situations.
As you step on that. Oh, maybe we're just gonna say, Julian, what kind of question does Willoughby have for the universe? Again.
Time to get
I mean, it
close
kind
to
of
God
makes
again.
sense that the magic user that has like a literal demon inside of him that he might have might get glimpses.
What
of
are they talking
stuff
about?
behind everything?
What is the meaning of life?
42.
What is the
42.
what is behind the veil? What do I
More veil.
What do I walk towards when I walk towards the light? No,
a
what-
light bulb?
I don't know. I can ask the obvious question.
God's
I don't
light
know
bulb.
how interesting that
The
is.
sun.
Like,
So maybe
I could just ask who's
If you
there.
want, I can say. I mean, you successfully sneaked, so I'm gonna say you get a glimpse of what's happening before whatever goes wrong goes
That's
wrong.
good. That's good.
And you can ask a question afterwards.
That works. Yeah. That's
While
perfect.
you were being sneaky, will you get a glimpse between 2 of the trees? Because maybe you were walking at the front and had a bit of a better view, and you see the people from cabin 4 sort of in a little huddle, and it looks like something like they are planning something. You also see very definitely the little capsule that Ryan has around his neck is swinging forwards again as they are huddling, but as you're trying to listen into what they are planning, what they are saying, the twig snaps and all of the heads rock up and look in your direction.
Robin is trying to impersonate a deer.
Give me a...
Deer noises. These are the sounds that deer do.
No. You don't have to roll for that.
Okay.
You see, as you get closer, even though you have been noticed, or people have noticed that something is there and they have stopped loudly planning. They seem to be at the sort of cliffside of one of the hills where you know there are some tunnel formations, but you have not been allowed to go there.
You know what would be useful here? Some sort of illusion.
Yeah, that would be very useful.
Yeah, that's not one of my powers.
But that's one of my powers.
I'm just gonna say they have noticed that there's something or someone there. They haven't seen you yet. So, maybe.
Yeah, I actually meant it. I'm gonna try to make a deer sound. Like, I don't know, a roaring bull or something.
I'm gonna help out with illusion magic by making you actually look like a deer. And by like, so they... and like pulling Max back a little bit.
Okay, so that sounds to me like Will try to make a illusion of a deer, and Robin is trying to make the appropriate noises. So I would say that's 3 dice for you, actually.
Okay, that's not great. I have 2 5s and another 4.
Are you
You did get that 4.
I did get that
Always
4.
that
Are you
4.
fucking kidding me?
Man, I'm so glad I choose 4 as my stat and not 3. I was thinking about it.
So you managed to make something that looks like a deer. It has 4 legs. It's
vaguely
brown.
animal-like.
It's vaguely animal-like. Robin, your voice, your chords are on point, and as you make your illusion sort of jump between some branches and disappear into the forest, you hear Isabel going, Ryan, check that out. I know there are weird foxes out here, but this is not a fox. Go check that out. And you see Ryan sort of parting from the group and
Should have made
sort
a
of
fox
cautiously walking towards the edge of the woods and trying to have a look at what's happening there.
Yeah, it wasn't quite clear whether it was a stag, a moose, or an elk.
Yeah,
It had
I'm
4
assuming
legs, it was brown.
We're going with that. A city kid doesn't recognize a deer approach, I think. Will just doesn't really have a clear image of what a deer looks like in his head.
It was actually an antelope you created. So Ryan is creeping towards it. He's not creeping towards you as a group yet, because you managed to get him to look at the side where your deer abomination jumped to.
antelope,
So
yeah.
he hasn't seen you yet, and you could stay hidden, or you can come out if you want. But he's trying to look what made that sound, and he probably will find you sooner or later if you stay where you are.
Pocket sand.
Sand.
Will use that attack.
I mean, I guess we have to try and hide, I would say.
Going back
Yeah,
to
I mean,
hiding is
we
good.
can always
Going
try.
back to hiding is good.
You could try doing the illusion version of the I'm gonna pull my cloak over us and make us look like a rock.
True. Make us look
Yeah, I'd say
Or
all
just
of us.
like a bush or
I'd
something.
motion for all of you to go down and then try to huddle close together, which is more physical contact than Will is comfortable having. But it's gonna make it easier to make all of us look like the same structure, which would be
Yeah,
right.
like a mossy
sense.
rock. We're a mossy rock now.
I'm gonna say 2 dice.
Yes.
I don't think it's daring and awesome to make yourself look like a rock.
Yeah, and I don't think we're helping with anything here.
I would say it's brainy.
Okay.
It's keeping
That's
cool
2
and
dice.
it's trying to
That's-
don't get a... Oh, you still have a question left, by the way.
Oh yeah, right. I rolled the dice already, but I'll ask the question.
If it's
anyway.
another 4, I swear I will. I don't... Ask the question, please.
They were talking about how they were gonna check for what made that noise, and I did make that doe jump away, so it seems that they're not going for like the illusion I made, but for the noise.
It was more like check that out. So right now I'm going with they checked at the point where they saw something and not where they heard something, because hearing is quite a bit harder to pinpoint
Okay.
and seeing is much easier for people in
So-
general. So right now he's going towards where your doe went into, not where you guys are standing.
Yeah, I'll use that knowledge in deciding like where the illusion needs to be the strongest, because I know, okay, they're going to be in that direction, so that's where the illusion needs to be the strongest. If it's behind us, that doesn't really matter that much.
Okay.
But yeah, does that mean that I get an additional die?
That sounds to me like you want one.
No, I'm
or you need one.
No, I'm asking that because I got additional information about this current situation. I just wanted to ask if that means that I get an additional die.
I
or
would
if it's
say-
just, like, flavor.
I would say yes, I'll give you another die.
Yeah, I rolled my dice. I have 2 successes.
Don't say 4, don't say
Nice.
4.
There's no 4.
four.
There's no 4 among them.
Yeah.
It's a 1 and a
Yay,
3.
the first time!
The streak was broken.
Yeah.
The curse.
Will loses grasp of the fabric of reality.
So, 2 successes, that means it works well. Your illusion is very good, it's solid, you can see Ryan looking in your direction and his eyes pass right over you. And then there's a bird flying out of the undergrowth and chattering loudly. And this seems to satisfy him, and he goes back to the group and sort of shrugs and makes body language of, I don't know. And they seem to be a bit more suspicious now, and they are whispering their plans, but they have not seen you and don't seem to be actively looking anymore.
From between the rocks, I turn like to the others and say, they can't take all our thing if we just stay here.
But we can't take theirs either.
But I don't need their thing.
I just sort of don't even listen to the conversation. I just stare at the two of you and I'm like, you know what? I don't think there's anyone in this entire camp that I'd rather have in my group than the two of you. You're like the best.
Aww.
Robin looks like you and is like, did she really just say that?
Will looks back at Max and is like, awkward thumbs up.
So you look at the edge of the woods where you are right now, and you can see the rocky outcroppings of the hills and little mountains. And you see that one of the cave entrances that you have been not allowed to go to, which have actually been closed off via, well, you assume earth manipulation, is now open, but there is a wall of fire in the entrance. It looks like it's sort of just jetting out from the ground and covering the entire entrance, but you can occasionally see between the flames that there is a tunnel behind it. You can actually see, as you have a look at the area, you see one of the camp counselors that's sort of leaning against the rocks, and that would be Tamina Sato, the terra firma, the earth manipulator. And she sort of seems to be waiting and looking into the direction of the path that you were supposed to come from, and looking at her clock at one point, at her watch. And it looks to you like this might be the place for the next, where the next challenge is supposed to take place, and they seem to be waiting for you. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, we can just sit here and keep listening to the other team, or we can actually continue with this. I'd say continue.
They're not gonna try to get at our treasure while we're doing a challenge, right?
And we've hidden it pretty well, so probably can't even.
And I don't think this is the best opportunity to steal theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since they're on high alert now.
Let's slowly and quietly go to the next challenge then.
So are you guys trying to creep in there and sort of reverse Batman surprise everyone, or?
No, we're just trying to go to the next challenge.
We're just going to the next challenge.
Okay, so you're just gonna stand up and walk out.
No,
okay.
Silently. We don't want
so that the other team doesn't
the
notice that we were
us.
there all along.
Okay, so you want to... I would say that doesn't require a roll. I think you walk back towards the path that you were supposed to go on.
The illusion rock follows us.
like a little dog. It's sort of...
We have a pet now.
Honestly, it's not so out of reality to, have moving rocks here, apparently.
Yeah, it's probably part of one of the challenges. I don't know.
With your illusory pet rock in tow, you walk out of the forest, and terra firma, the camp counselor, stands up and says, "There you are, finally. I must be honest, I kinda didn't think it would take you so long. I mean, Guy was pretty sure he could beat you all, but from the looks of you, he got a few hits in. So this is the third challenge. This one is a bit different than the other two. You might notice you have some of your other camp attendees here, and this will actually be a race against time. You see this wall of fire over there is pretty hungry, and whoever gets it to be satisfied can go in first. The other group will have to wait 10 minutes and then can go in. Around this clearing, there are hints and clues hidden everywhere about what you can do to get through the wall of fire. And the question is, who is gonna be faster? You, the Starbolt cabin, or you, the Purple Shield cabin? I'm gonna give you a count to 3, and then it's go time. 1, 2, 3, go. And as she says go, you look over to the cave entrance and the fire turns green and a wolf's head sort of comes out of the fire, made out of fire. And it opens its maw and just says, "Feed me." And this is where we will end this episode. So, just for you guys, in case it wasn't clear, this one will not be a challenge that can be solved by punching it.
I mean, Robin has to do something, right?
I know! I've rolled like 5 times at most. Most of these rolls were in this episode. Before this episode, I had one roll per session.
Listen, you're gonna do it now. It's fine.
Yeah, this is your challenge.
Yay!
So, I really hope you liked this little more action-heavy episode. I thought it went some very interesting places.
It was super fun.
And if you guys behind the speaker or on the other side of this one-way conversation we are having with you, the dear listener, want to engage with us, we are pretty much on all of the social media platforms. We are on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere we are at Waypoint Pod. So if you want to shoot us a tweet, shoot us a photo of you punching a tornado, I don't know, that would be pretty awesome.
You shouldn't punch tornadoes. Leave that to the professionals.
So yeah, if you want to get in contact with us, these are the ways to do it. And if you just want to say hi, or that was very fun, or that was very cringeworthy, honestly, it would be good to know. Sam, which you know from this little episode, thank you again for being here, Sam, actually crocheted me a little, like, about the size of my hand, a crocheted doll of Moon. And that's so awesome. That was a very cool birthday gift.
Sam is our number one fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to introduce a voodoo-themed villain so we can make that canon.
Yeah.
It's just an old lady who does crochet. I love that.
There will be pictures of that. If you guys have anything you want to say or show, even if it's just, again, we are always open to pictures of pets. Any pet. I wish you all a good day, night, morning, or evening, wherever you are, and I hope we'll see you again next episode. Bye!
Goodbye!
Bye!